When a customer isn't happy, that's a make or break moment for any business, right? It's a huge test of your processes, of your commitment to quality. So today we're going to dive into how SAP S4HANA's quality management module can turn that challenge into a real opportunity. We're talking about building a structured, totally trackable process to make sure every single complaint is handled with precision. Let's jump in.
So, here's our game plan. We'll start with that moment a complaint lands. Then we'll get to know your best friend for this process, the quality notification. After that, we'll map out the whole resolution process, take a peek at the system itself, and wrap it all up by talking about why this whole thing is so crucial for any quality professional.
All right, let's get into it. Section 1, Complaint Received. This is all about setting the scene for that real-world challenge, that moment when the phone rings or an unhappy email hits your inbox. So just imagine it for a sec. You get that call. A customer's got an issue with a product they just got. What's the very first thing you do inside SAP? It's not just about firing off a quick reply. It's about kicking off a formal, trackable process, so absolutely nothing gets missed.
And this is the classic scenario, right? A sales rep in the field or a quality tech in the office gets the news. Their number one job right then is to get this complaint documented in SAP. This isn't just about taking notes. It's the official starting gun for the entire resolution journey.
So, how do we formally start that journey? Well, that brings us right to Section 2 and the absolute core of complaint management in SAP, quality notifications. If the complaint is the problem, this is where the solution begins. So what in the world is a quality notification? Think of it like a digital case file. It's the dedicated tool inside S4HANA that's built to capture, process, and track every little detail about a customer complaint. It's your central hub for the entire issue. Okay, so we know the tool. Now let's move on to Section 3 and see how this all fits together into a complete process. We're going to start with a high-level view, just to see the big picture. The whole life cycle of a complaint in SAP can really be boiled down to these 4 key stages. First, you enter the complaint. Second, you route it to the right people. Third, you take action. And finally, you close it out. Simple, logical, and you know what? Incredibly effective. Let's dig into Stage 1, Entry. Now this first step is probably the most critical. The goal here is to capture everything. A super detailed description of the issue, all the customer info, delivery data, even pictures if you can get them. A strong start here makes everything that follows so much easier. Once that complaint is logged, it needs to land on the right person's desk. That's what Stage 2, Routing, is all about. The system can even do this automatically based on rules you set up, like maybe all issues for a certain material go to a specific expert, or you can just assign it manually. The point is to do it fast and get it to the right person. Stage 3 is where the magic happens, actions. This is the investigation phase. The team assigned has to figure out the root cause. If the product needs to come back, the system helps you manage that whole return process. And this is where you track all those corrective actions, whether it's a refund, a replacement, or a repair. And finally, we have Stage 4, Close. Once every task is done, the notification processor officially closes the book on this issue. But it's more than just clicking a button. This stage is also where you can generate formal reports for the customer, giving them a really professional and well-documented end to the whole thing. And speaking of reports, you'll often hear about the 8D methodology. This is a super structured 8-discipline approach that's designed not just to solve a problem, but to find its root cause and stop it from ever happening again. It's a big deal in industries like automotive, and all that data you gathered in the quality notification, it's the perfect foundation for creating one of these comprehensive reports. Okay, enough with the theory. For Section 4, let's get practical. We're going to walk through the key steps you'd actually take to process a complaint right inside the system. So here's how it actually flows in the system. First up, you create that quality notification, and you link it right to the customer's delivery. You'd reference the sales order or delivery document right there. Next, you document any immediate actions you took, maybe by creating a quick task. Then, if something needs to be sent back, you kick off the return process straight from the notification. And finally, you switch the status to in process. That's the trigger that gets the full investigation rolling.
So we've seen the what and the how. For our final section, let's talk about the why. Why is this structured process so important? What are the real, tangible benefits?
And here's the bottom line.
You make sure all the information is captured in one spot. You get the issue to the right expert fast. You have a crystal clear audit trail of every single action that was taken. All of that obviously leads to better customer satisfaction. But here's the real kicker. The data you collect helps you stop the same problem from happening over and over again.
And this really says it all, doesn't it? A structured process turns a customer complaint from a problem into an opportunity for improvement. This one idea just reframes the whole situation. It's no longer just about damage control. It's about actively finding a chance to get better, to learn, and to make your whole quality system stronger.
And that brings us to our final thought. So you've followed the process, you've made the customer happy, you've closed the notification, but how do you actually use the data you've just gathered to stop the next one from ever happening? That, right there, is the real goal of quality management.